All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA Western Conference Finals video. In this video, we're going to talk about Game 2 of Oklahoma versus San Antonio. We're going to talk about what I like, what I didn't like, what happened in the game, some stats, and all that good stuff. We're also going to talk about how the series is going to shift heading to San Antonio for the next two games and see what's going to happen in the next two. So if you like what I've said, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. So with the intro out of the way, let's talk about this game. And this game, of course, every game with Oklahoma has a bunch of thoughts, a bunch of people, giving their opinions, having their own conspiracy theories and deep dives about Oklahoma. I do want to talk about the game though, because the game was, for what it was worth, at least in like the first half, was entertaining. It was good basketball. These are the two best teams in the West. Definitively, I guess, in my opinion, at the beginning of the year, I would have thought maybe the Nuggets would be here. I would have thought maybe the Rockets would be here, but here we are in May, and these are the two best teams, and they've been giving us a treat these first two games, and we'll see if they can do that in San Antonio. I think they will, but to get into this game, for both teams, they started hot, great shots for both teams. Spurs got more downhill in that first quarter, trying to get in rhythm, and and Oklahoma was shooting more threes, and that's going to be important throughout this game. Is That's what both teams were really doing all game, and it sounds kind of silly to think like, oh, what they did at the beginning of the game, of course they were doing at the end of the game, but most teams, and Thunder and Spurs included, start with one thing and they try to work their way into the other things of the game. Spurs, obviously the opposite of getting downhill is kicking it out and shooting threes, and opposite of shooting threes for Oklahoma is getting downhill and getting to the paint. All those things did happen in this game, but both teams were really hammering that point home for both their individual teams. Um, Getting into the second quarter, however, Victor Wembanyama had two fouls early in the second quarter, and I don't think Coach Mitch Johnson yanked him from the game initially. I think he stayed in the game maybe 3 or 4 more minutes after that. But it was something to see Victor be a little more tentative and be a little more like conservative with his shot blocking and the way he was being physical with guys. And we'll get to physicality here in a second, in a minute, at the latter part of this video. But it was interesting because he's still a deterrent. I still give him a lot of credit in that game one for just, if he was in somebody's presence, it would like spook an Oklahoma player to be like, I don't want to take the shot. I'm gonna pass it out, and that didn't happen too much in this game. And I'm not sure if like the fear factor wore off for Wemby in this game, or um, they just knew like he has two fouls, he's not gonna go for it. I don't know which it was, but it was interesting to see that. Then at some point in the second, we had the Stefan Castle, Vince Carter dunk, bottom right of your screen, all over Isaiah Hartenstein, all over him. It was a loud pop in that building because it was like, did that just happen? Did this did this little six was it? What do you think? He's 6'5", 6'5" player almost like dunk on this like 6'10" player? Yeah, it happened. It was an amazing dunk. I encourage you to go watch it if you didn't see the game last night. It was a crazy dunk. Um, then continuing on here, Oklahoma was much sharper with their passes in this game too, and they were much better with their shot selection at the 3 point line. Oklahoma, in my mind, thrives off rebounding and making their threes, and that opens up everything else for them. It opens stuff up for Jalen Williams. It opens up stuff for um, Shea Alexander. It opens up everything for everybody, and I think everybody on this Oklahoma City Thunder team can shoot a mid-range shot. Is that the preferred shot? Probably not, but it does open up everything for them when they can rebound, when they get those second chance opportunities, and when they can shoot the three ball at a good percentage. And as we get into the second half, I just remembered there's no De'Aaron Fox in this game for the Spurs still. He's still out with that ankle injury. I had theorized that he would play in this game, and it came out maybe like 2 hours, 3 hours before that he wasn't going to play. Um, I think this game they definitely missed him more than game one, because there's some other things that compounded the missing of De'Aaron Fox that really wasn't a factor in game one that became a factor in game two. They need De'Aaron Fox's shooting. Let's just put it that way. Whether it is in the mid range, whether it is at the three, they're missing some valuable shot creation. The Spurs team is, and when Oklahoma has their players, even the small ones, like the small role players, playing very well and getting their shots up, it becomes a problem. Because for Oklahoma, they had Kason Wallace 12 points off the bench, Jared McCain 12 points off the bench, AJ Mitchell 10 points off the bench. He went down with an injury later in this game. It was like a quad injury. I don't know if he came back in the game after that because it was kind of late in the game too. I'm not sure he came back. I don't know if there's an update on him either. But AJ Mitchell did not hit a single three, but made a lot of mid-range shots, got to the rim. Jared McCain, 3 of 9 from three. Kason Wallace, 4 of 6 from three. And when the Spurs are missing their star guy or their second star guy, in De'Aaron Fox, those little points that those guys give you from the opposite team start to add up a little bit. And you're like, well, you add these points together, that's 24 points. That's basically De'Aaron's output. Um, for San Antonio, and that covers that point deficit that Kason and Jared McCain um, helped get for Oklahoma. Yeah, I say this. I talk about the De'Aaron Fox injury because we get into the second half here, and we get video and reports that Jalen Williams, that's Jalen Williams, number 8 Jalen Williams, had to go to the back um, and was not hobbling to the back, but he was like being helped to the back during halftime because he had re-aggravated his calf injury. And there, there, I have so many thoughts about this because last postseason, and this is before we get into the second half, by the way. I'm just gonna ramble here for a little bit. Um, Last postseason playoffs, conference finals run for this Oklahoma team. Jalen Williams was playing with I believe it was a broken hand, right? Yeah, he's playing with a broken hand, and you can sort of play through a broken hand. I don't know how you play through a broken hand. I've never broken a bone, so I don't know what they had Jalen Williams doing or like what they gave him to nurse that broken hand at that point in time. But you can play through that, and he played well. He had a couple bad games, let's be honest, but he had a couple really like game saving. What would you call it? Game saving. There's another word for it, but um, he played well at some points, and he looked like himself. And there was never any question that he didn't look like himself, really. And it never leaked out throughout the whole playoff run that he'd broken his hand. It was only after that they won the championship that they had said he'd broken his hand at some point. Um, but a calf injury, you don't play around with. A calf injury, you can't play through. And I think it's very, I'll say alarming that Jalen Williams has not been able to put a full healthy season together this season. And I'm not sure he was ever fully healthy this whole season. Maybe when he first came back from the broken hand, maybe that like what was it like 4 or 5 games where he played and he was coming back from the broken hand and he had like one good game and maybe I think he had like a game tying shot or something um, at some point during that was like what that was pre All Star break. Yeah, that was like maybe January, maybe yeah, somewhere around that ballpark, maybe. Um, but you can't play through a calf injury, and Oklahoma doesn't want him to play through a calf injury because a calf injury can lead to an Achilles injury. An Achilles injury can be a tear, a rupture. That's definitely what you don't want for your what would be at this point your second star player because Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is your star, then Jalen, then Chet, then everybody else. Um, Chet hasn't had the best series thus far, so you're relying on Shea and the others essentially, and you would love Jalen Williams to be out there. Um, Jalen Williams, though, if things go sideways, and this is just a thought, if things go sideways, there are a bunch of ways Oklahoma could go with restructuring this team, and one of them might be trading Jalen Williams, who I thought, in my mind at least, this time last year or a couple weeks from this time last year when Oklahoma had won the championship, I thought Jalen Williams was untouchable. I thought maybe, the only guy who would possibly be out the door is Chet Holmgren. And that's still on the table, I think. But um, just something to think about that, like, these little things, and I'm not saying Sam Presti, the GM of the Oklahoma City Thunder, is going to make a knee jerk reaction, be like, oh, he wasn't healthy one postseason run, trade him. I'm not saying he's going to do that, but it's something to think about and digest a little bit as we watch maybe this Oklahoma team in the conference finals, and then maybe in the finals. We'll see what happens, but it's just something to think about and something to um, put on the back burner for now. That maybe Jalen Williams, maybe he only ever had one healthy postseason run in him, and maybe this is the beginning of him just constantly being injured, whether it be knick-knack injuries like the hand, which is like you can't stop from breaking your hand. But the calf injury is sort of, I won't say avoidable, but it's sort of something that can be reoccurring and can't be fixed and doesn't have a strict timetable. It's just how he's feeling on that day. And in this game, I assume he felt good coming into this game, and then something happened during the game, and he only played 7 minutes. He had 4 points. He was 2 of 4 from field goal, one rebound, two steals. He was playing well. I mean, he was on pace for a decent game. So we'll see if in game three will San Antonio get De'Aaron Fox back, and will Oklahoma be without Jalen Williams again? We'll see. Continuing on to the second half of this game, though, game two. Um, the Spurs came out in the second half, moving the ball better, finding their shooters. That's how they got back into this game. They did not particularly shoot the three ball well. Overall, they shot was at 40% from three. I mean, not terrible, not great. Um, some of their starters from three. Some numbers here for you: 1 of 7 from three, 3 of 7, 6 of 12, 1 of 6. Then we go to the bench: 1 of 2 from three, 2 of 4 from three, 2 of 2 from three. Um, it was okay. I feel like at times the Spurs really needed a three and they couldn't get it. And then when it really came down to it, like when it really started to get into crunch time, they got the shots. And the 3 point percentages for some of these guys look a little bit better than they did if the game would have stopped like at the third quarter or something. Um, let's talk about Victor Wembanyama here because we haven't talked about Vic. Almost heading into the back end of the third and into the fourth here. Vic sort of had a more, we'll say, for what he is and how extraterrestrial he is, sort of had a more normal game. I had said in my game one video, if Victor has even like half of the game that he had um, this next game or the coming games and De'Aaron Fox is back, it would be okay. De'Aaron Fox was not back though, and he had that more average game for Victor Wembanyama standards in 21 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 turnovers. Some of those turnovers were nasty too. Like they were like bad turnovers. Like he got his lunch stolen kind of turnovers. 4 blocks, 3 of 7 from three. Really didn't have it going. Those were like sporadic. None of those were like in a row. And he was 8 of 16 overall. And he played 37 minutes. And I think what was most evident to me was like the double overtime game weighed more on the Spurs than it did Oklahoma. And I'm not trying to take anything away from Oklahoma, but Oklahoma's been in those situations. They've been in a finals run already, so they know what it's like to play those really hard games, have one day of rest, and they have to get right back to it. San Antonio's never had to do that, so I think it did weigh on them a little bit. Everybody sort of looked out of it. Stefan Castle, look, I'm Stefan. I really like Stefan, but man, he's been a rough watch. He had 25, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, but he had 9 turnovers, 3 personal fouls, um, 10 of 17 from field goal overall, but like 1 of 6 from three. Not great. They definitely need the leadership and the ball handling of De'Aaron Fox because as much as I like the young, athletic backcourt of Castle and Harper, um, it at times you can see Oklahoma just licking their lips and be like, "Yes, he's bringing up the ball, yes," and they throw like um, Lou Zangdor, Alex Caruso, um, AJ Mitchell, Kason Wallace on like Stefan Castle, and it makes his life miserable at times. Um, but I talk about Wemby to get to my next point, which is I want to talk about Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren, a much improved game um, by his standards, I guess. against Wemby. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, no blocks, no steals, 1 turnover. Didn't make a single three, 5 of 10 from field goal. But didn't back down this game. He played with a little more confidence. I think somebody showed him the tape of what happened in game one, and he wanted to play better. And I think at times he was forcing it a little bit, but when it came down to it in those big moments where Wemby sort of, um, what's the word I want to use? Sunned. We'll put sunned. Chet. Chet didn't back down this time, and it was a little. It was a little. You could see it was a little difficult for him because he was like, oh, "Am I gonna be another highlight?" But he did it anyway, and he altered a couple shots. He brought in a couple rebounds. I mean, he only had 4 of them, so they had to be important. And he played better, and we'll talk about his front court partner, Isaiah Hartenstein, here in a minute. But yeah, I think this is heading into the at some point during the third and the fourth. Dylan Harper goes to the back for the San Antonio Spurs. He goes to the back. He goes to the locker room. Goes to the whatever they have back there, and he didn't come back. He was out for the rest of this game. So if you're keeping track, that's Jalen Williams out for Oklahoma, and that's Dylan Harper out for the San Antonio Spurs. So both teams down some manpower. Obviously, San Antonio down a little bit more than Oklahoma. But Harper finished the game, played 25 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 turnover, only 1 personal foul. I won't say it wasn't impactful this game, but like I just don't think he got enough time to percolate, and he didn't get enough time to get into his groove that he normally gets into. And yeah, I hope he's healthy for Game 3. Getting more into it here, where the game's getting closer. Devin Vassell hits a 3. Devin Vassell, low-key kind of good these past 2 games. I mean, I don't. Let me check the game log before I start talking out of my neck here. um, let's see here. Yeah, yeah. I mean, um, he had an okay game. He had an okay game 1, which makes this game 2 look even better. We'll put it that way. 22 points, 7 of 14 from field goal, 6 of 3 from 3, 6 of 12 from 3. Pardon me. 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. Hit some crucial threes for this team, for the Spurs team, that brought them within striking distance. And I think everybody was hoping whether Castle or Victor would take him over the hump. All of these San Antonio role players will say. Spurs never gave up. They kept trying. They kept trying. They kept holding on. And then let's talk about some of these other Spurs players as well. Um, this comes later in my notes, but I just have to say it now since we're talking about it. Julian Champagnie, brother, what the hell is going on? Why is Julian Champagnie always at the center of like a Spurs blunder? Like, he misses a bunch of threes. He turns the ball over. The ball falls out of his hands. Like, and I have a specific note here about a ball falling out of his hands in a moment, but I'm gonna talk to Coach Mitch Johnson when I look him in his eyes, right? And I know you're trying to instill confidence in your young shooter, in Julian Champagnie, and he was good regular season player, and that you have to learn to just yank players off the floor. You have to learn. I'm using this very harshly, but you have to learn how to punish players, dude. Because Julian Champagnie cannot be out there in crunch time. He was 1 of 7 from 3, and there was a quote from Coach Mitch Johnson that he just wants Julian to keep shooting. No, Julian, don't shoot, don't shoot. It's that I swear, it's that Michael Jordan meme where he's sitting on, he's courtside at a game, and he's shaking his hand. He's like, no, 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 don't don't do that. Yeah, Julian, stop shooting, please. You're hurting the team, dude. You're hurting the team. Stop it. Stop it. I know that's what you're out there for, but stop it. Keep the ball moving, dude. Just keep it moving. Unless it's wide open, don't shoot it. Don't stop. 1 of 7 from 3. Awful. Let's move on here. Um, Another criticism for another Spurs player, Victor Wembanyama. Victor just couldn't hold on to a rebound tonight. Just couldn't do it. Um, there were some other factors that played at hand, but some of it falls on Victor because he just had butterfingers. He just couldn't. His hands were too sweaty. Like I don't know what was going on, but like he just couldn't hold on to some of these rebounds. And I say this as Victor Wembanyama has 17 rebounds, but maybe you could have had 27, 24. There were a lot of missed Victor Wembanyama opportunities for a rebound, and someone who played a big part in that and Victor missing a lot of his rebounds was Isaiah Hartenstein of the Oklahoma City Thunder. And we come to the portion of the video where we talk about Oklahoma City Thunder basketball. And I didn't talk about it too much in game one because it didn't happen in game one. But it reared its ugly head again where Oklahoma just gets to do whatever the hell they want and they don't get punished at all. And it's not a theory, it's not a thought that I have or people on the internet have. There is video proof of this. There are multiple offenders on this team. Lou Dort. Some people would say Alex Caruso. Some people would say Keshawn Wallace. Some people say even Chet Holmgren last game. He tried to step. I saw a video of him, Chet Holmgren, trying to step on Victor Wembanyama's foot at the free throw line. There's obviously Shea on the offensive end. And then we come to Isaiah Hartenstein tonight, who is suspect number one in Oklahoma City Thunder basketball. And when I say Oklahoma City Thunder basketball, I mean just dirty, grabbing people, tripping people, holding people, and none of these things get called as fouls, technicals, flagrant fouls. None of it gets called by the refs. Isaiah Hartenstein in this game grabbed Stephon Castle's hair, dragged him to the floor, no call. So that's one. And then two, throughout the course of the game, and then as was revealed at the end of the game, through a montage of, of theatrics from Isaiah Hartenstein, just grabbing Victor Wembanyama, just holding him like a WWE wrestler trying to do his finisher move. Like it was not basketball. And when I was watching it, I didn't particularly see it. I didn't witness that. I saw sometimes where like they were grabbing each other. That's my point. They were grabbing each other. I didn't see Isaiah Hartenstein doing it directly. Maybe I wasn't watching with a keen enough eye, but some sleuths on the internet did see it, and they compiled a montage of it, and it was not good. It was not Isaiah Hartenstein's best moments, and I have no hate towards Isaiah Hartenstein. I really liked him on the Knicks. But it feels like when you're on this Oklahoma team, you get infected by something. You get infected by the dirtiness of Oklahoma. Not the city, the team. Maybe the city too. But yeah, you just get infected with it. And the only person not to be infected with it was the guy who came at midseason. That's Jared McCain. Jared McCain doesn't have a mean bone in his body. Like he's one of the nicest guys in the NBA. He's a nice guy. He makes TikToks. Like he's just a nice guy. You know, he might be a little weird, but he's a nice guy. Everybody else, including my favorite Oklahoma City Thunder player, Keshawn Wallace, is guilty of all these things. Whether it be on the defensive end, grabbing, holding, tripping, slapping, grabbing people's hair, or on the offensive end, like Shea, just flopping everywhere. Shea hasn't flopped too much these past two games, but in the regular season was flopping all around the place like a fish. But like even Alex Caruso, like I think Alex Caruso is a very good defender. I liked him when he was in L.A. I liked him when he was in Chicago, and I think the theatrics of Alex Caruso have been so amplified because he's on this Oklahoma team and people are looking out for it. I don't think initially Alex Caruso is the sort of pseudo dirty player. I think he's just been infected by these Oklahoma City Thunder fans and the team and Coach Mark Dagnall telling them a certain way to play defense. And I'm gonna get to Coach Mark Dagnall here in a second if I remember to do it. But yeah, Isaiah Hartenstein, I guess a good game. And even at the end of this game, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was asked about the impact Isaiah Hartenstein had, and the reporter, she asked, was it positive? And Shea sort of like looked around and thought about it for a minute, and he was like, I don't know if it was positive. And the interviewer tried to prod at him and be like, well, why wasn't it positive? And then Shea realized he said something he probably shouldn't have. He was like, actually, no, I was positive. So even Oklahoma City Thunder players know what the team does and know how dirty they are. And I'm going to get to a point here where I'm going to say at some point, NBA fans were mad that the game wasn't physical enough. Everything was being called. To a point, Oklahoma City is really physical. Is it a dirty physical? Yes. Could they be more physical without being dirty? Yes. And that would be the appropriate way to think about basketball in that sense of like basketball isn't what it used to be in the 90s and the early 2000s. It was more physical. If Oklahoma could do all their stuff without being dirty and just being physical, it would be 2000s, 90s basketball, which is fine. That's within the rules. But the lengths that they go and the turn that they take and the road they go down just turns into dirty play. It just turns into dirty basketball, which is what it is. And then I started to watch the game a little more closely, obviously, because it's towards the end of the game, and the Spurs had some combination of, let's see here, who they have out there. They had some combination of Champagny, Wembanyama, Vassell, um, Keldon Johnson, and like maybe Harrison Barnes or something like that. Some smaller combination where Victor is the lone five, right? And Oklahoma, this was in crunch time, was running their standard Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein front court. Um, and I thought to myself, I was like, man, this Spurs team has so many bigs. And I understand you don't want to play like Plumlee or Bismack Biyombo too much, but you might have to because at some point when Oklahoma starts running their really big lineup of 2 7-footers, you're going to have to run Luke Cornett and Victor Wembanyama together because as much as I like Keldon Johnson, he's the reigning six man of the year. He just can't play out there when they have the two bigs out there. He just can't. And I know Keldon Johnson fights hard and he had 5 rebounds and all that stuff, but like Victor being the lone heavy rebounder with 17, I need Luke Cornett out there to help Victor out a little bit and help him deal with Isaiah Hartenstein and um, Chet Holmgren if Isaiah Hartenstein's going to keep being this dirty and physical, and if Chet's just going to be around just to be a presence in the paint. I'm going to need Coach Mitch Johnson to run their big lineup because it's time. It's time. You did in the regular season. It looked okay at times. It's time to test something out in the postseason again. Just do it. Um, the Spurs were hanging on, and then this is where we get to my Julian Champagny note where my note specifically says Julian always messing up, missed a clear pass to him, like he was the receiver for the pass. When he was on the baseline cutting towards the corner, it was a Stephon Castle turnover, which in itself we've talked about. 9 turnovers isn't great, but Julian moved too quickly or didn't move quick enough to get to the corner to where Stephon was putting the pass, and it went straight out of bounds. And I want to say that was the moment the game ended, but it was the moment where you knew the Spurs were flustered and they were jumbled up, and Oklahoma really had control of this game. And then my next note here says, kind of disappointing end for the Spurs because they were in this game. They were completely in this game, and the Oklahoma just went on these crazy runs like they normally do. And they just kind of lost. The Spurs kind of lost the momentum that they had. Kind of disappointing game for the Spurs. Double overtime will do that. No huge loss, just weird. It was just weird because like there were these little like those small moments like the Julian moment. There were some other moments in there. The ball falling out of Wemby's hands. There was just weird moments in this game where you're like, a couple things go a different way. Um, I'm not saying they win this game, but maybe it is even closer. Maybe they play another overtime game. Um, San Antonio lost this game 113 to Oklahoma's 122. The series is tied 1-1 heading to San Antonio. And yeah, talking about the other series real quick. Um, also, um, New York is up 1-0. So Thunder split their home games, and we will see if the Knicks can um, win both their home games. Do you have any other thoughts about this game from last night? Trying to think. No, I don't. I don't think so. I think I got it all out. Again, it's gonna be interesting. See if Jalen Williams plays and De'Aaron Fox comes back. I think that's the best case scenario for San Antonio. Um, I think if both Fox and Williams are both out for their respective teams, I think the series does change a little bit. I would like to see some adjustment from Coach Mitch Johnson. Coach Mitch Johnson. I'm watching. I'm watching very intently. I'm watching with both eyeballs. Um, yeah, I just see some different stuff. Hopefully, from San Antonio, because I feel like it's very easy to fall into this trap of being a young and experienced team and let that be the excuse for why you lose games. I think this team is talented enough, is deep enough, and is hopefully healthy enough at some point during the series to win and advance to the finals. Um, Also, shout out Jordan McLaughlin for the Spurs. Just want to shout him out. Played 7 minutes, 6 points, two threes, no turnovers, only one foul, one assist, one rebound. Checked out of the game, never checked back in. So he made two threes and checked out essentially. So hats off to him. Um, but yeah, that's it. That's the video. The end screen should be playing right now. Check out the video on the left. Check out the playlist on the right. If you click my little GT icon in the middle, bottom middle of the screen, a little subscribe will pop up, and you can subscribe with ease. There'll be some WNBA stuff at some point in the next couple days, and there will be some obviously more NBA Eastern Conference Final stuff, right? Eastern Conference Final stuff um, tomorrow. So yeah, that's it. That's the video. Like and comment as well, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.